In this follow-up video, I'm going to briefly show you how you can add a new scene and associate sources with that scene, and those have already been set up for the ones I've previously used. So the ones that we've already seen, which I've already shown you, are here. PDF notes and so on. So what I'm going to do is to add a completely new scene, which I'll call test. And it says, as you see, that there are no sources associated with that. So when you start up OBS from scratch, any new scene that you create will have that within it. So we need to add some. So let's see what we can add as a source within that scene. So I'm going to add as a video capture device. We'll call it just call it webcam. We already have one. Call it webcam test. You can clearly add an existing one if you want. So let's just do that. And then one can search for it. So I'm going to pick this one that's showing the video, which you can see here. Now I can resize that within this window. And indeed I can put it right at the top or the bottom, and I can trim it. I'm going to add to this a background. So in here I'm going to add a color source as a background, and I'm just going to call it test background, and it can be used again. Could add an existing color source, as you see that I've used, and you can select the color. Let's stick with white, and then you can see that you can resize that. Now what I want is that to be at the back, so I'm going to first of all change it so this webcam sits above. So just move that up, and then this, when I resize it or move it, will sit behind. I can stretch it to the edge there, and or resize it rather, but if I want to stretch it I've got to press shift and move it down, and it'll snap into position. So I've already got that source added. If I want to add another source, let's suppose I add, say, a window, and a window, let's call it window 1, and I need to find the window I want to add so I can see if there's anyone already in here. And well, I can add this movie recording as a window if I want. So I just need to resize that in here, so it's quite large. So so that's actually recording that I'm making. But other sources you might wish to add, for example, this PDF notes or similar, in which case you first of all have to, if you're going to be able to see it, have that window open. So here I'm going to go to Adobe Reader, I'm going to find a file and open it, and typically you would want that without the side bar and fit width, say, and that would be the window you'd need to look at when making the video. However, you need to create that as a source. So in here I've got those existing ones, and I'm going to add a new source, which is going to be a window capture, and I'm going to do window 1, which I've already used, although I haven't set it up, but I can now set it up as a new one. In fact, that's a repeat, so I don't want that, so I can delete that. It's got the previous one. We need to call it new, so let's have a window capture, and we call it window capture 2. Discard those changes. Now I need to find it. Well, the one we've just referred to is this, so that's what we see, and I need to resize this so it fits in, say, neatly at the bottom. So let's suppose we just have that in here. Now ordinarily you might want that to fill the screen, but you might also want the other videos just to be over the top. So let's suppose we put it there, but I can move these others up and down. It was the webcam I want to put up the top. So there we have that. We're sitting over the top of it, and I can do the same thing with this one here. I can put that, which was window 1, up at the top, and it will sit over the top. So you can shift the order, and you can shift the size, and again in this you can either crop it with the option key, resize it, and then if you really need to, if you want to be able to stretch that in a particular place, you can use the shift key just to stretch it down a bit, just to fill a gap. We'll add 2 more. We'll add another video capture device. Let's just call it test 3. Obviously you use sensible names, but I've already got ones in there I don't want to use. Discard that, and we can add, for example, the visualizer, and again one can size that and move it front and back. And the last one I'll add is the iPad. It's a new one, so let's already have one, and we can find that here. Once it's the home button needs pressing and it's appeared, and whatever's on the home page can be seen. And again, you can put that wherever you want. And this would be a good place at which to trim this. So if I click that window, do the option key, it will trim the side. You obviously wouldn't have those all in one place. The only other additional place I've made changes are on the small webcam view in the corner. So if we double click that one, so that's say this webcam test view, then you can change the opaqueness of that, and one way to do that is to use for that, say, a filter, and the typical filters that are suggested one can add are the chroma key. So if you're doing this, and you can add that, if you're doing this professionally, then you would want to have a green screen at the background, and then that works very effectively. If you add it, you can change its settings. Call it, say, 1, and then you can change the settings within that, and that can be quite useful if you want to make your image slightly opaque so you can see the image or background to that.